And this week we will start working on the environmental effects and try to make this level complete in terms of effects. This lesson will be most likely extended for the other 2 weeks. So we're going to have a total of 3 weeks to make a complete environment and all the effects associated with it. So regarding this one, if you're interested, I actually purchased this one from the marketplace. I was looking for a cool environment to do effects for these lessons, something that would have a lot of different possibilities. So I thought this one would be kind of cool because we can showcase a lot of different types of effects. And if you're wondering, I believe it was called the medieval village, and it was this one here, I believe. Yeah, this, I think it was this one. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not this one. This one's kind of cool too, though. Yeah, it doesn't show up because I already purchased it, so that's why it will show up in this list here and not in the marketplace. So if we go back to Unreal, I'm going to assess this exactly as I would for a level in production, so you can see my workflow. First thing, I would definitely talk to the designers, try to get an understanding. Usually some companies, they will do a little video preview of what they have in mind, any gray boxing they have done. If not, they would just discuss it a little bit with you. And the first and the most important thing is that you just start by playing the level. It sounds super obvious. You play the level, try to see what's the flow of the level. If it's a open world kind of thing, it's a little bit different. If it's a single player game like Uncharted, you would definitely play from the beginning of the level to the end, or as much as you can, and you try to assess what's going to happen and also what's going to be seen. Like vistas, it's a very important thing for Uncharted. Also composition of effects to make sure your eye is drawn to the correct place. Also, you would know about action scenes, cinematics, battle areas, everything, as much information as you can get. And then I would start, as I play it, I kind of make notes to myself, like, oh, it would be cool to have this thing here, oh, we need this, we need that, and that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Since this is kind of similar to what I've done in Rise: Son of Rome, I'm going to do a similar approach. So there's trees, we're going to make some falling leaves, there's a lot of nature scattered, so we're going to do a lot of little animal particles. There's situations here where it would be nice to add some ambient fog or dust. Potentially we can try to do some particle god rays, and it would be nice if we can also add some still haven't explored the level fully, but it would be nice if we can have some water as well. Maybe here would be a good location for water. Oh yeah, perfect, there's some water here already, so which kind of looks kind of weird here, but here we have a perfect situation. We're going to put caustics and creatures that would make sense close to the water. I think this level has a lot of possibilities and a lot of interesting things. One thing I'm noticing is that sometimes it's quite dark, so I'll probably have to tweak the post-processing. That's another thing, like as you go, you talk to your lighters and you always try to come to some common ground, like your lighting is not working because it's going to break my particles, so can we do something about it? And they will be very helpful, hopefully. And everybody wants to make sure that everything runs smoothly to get the best looking game, the most performant game as well as possible, the best game as possible, and with the least amount of work for everyone, because you will have to work a lot already, so any corners you can cut without losing and sacrificing quality, that would be great. Let's see what we have here. We have some buildings. We can add some falling dust and some environmental dust as well. It's a bit empty. Maybe this is also a good opportunity to add some god rays coming from the windows. Okay, there's some grass inside of the building, which is not what I would expect, but then again, it's a demo level, I guess. See if we can find something interesting in the middle of the city. Yeah, this section here is a little bit empty, so I'm gonna fly up. We could try to also make like a vista effects, birds, you know, like fog sheets to kind of cut geometry to make it look nicer, among other things. Maybe I'll change the skybox as well, because it's not really the most interesting at the moment. We'll see. Maybe yeah, maybe I'll change it and try to find some place. Maybe we can find some place to put some fires, maybe some blacksmith. Oh, perfect, here we go. Some fire here. You know, another thing, if you have the opportunity, you should start doing checkpoints or bookmarks of locations you would like to save, so in case you get lost. Even though honestly, the way I do it, I just keep walking around the level, I keep playing the level. I need to know the level very well. Usually I played the whole game, even levels I don't work on, because the better understanding I have of the game, in you know, like if I need to jump into some people's levels because they left or they're sick or they're just behind, it's definitely very helpful to know the whole game, so you have a good understanding of what you need. So yeah, I would go play the whole game, try to understand, and the story as well. You know, like you just don't need to do effects. You can also actually try to contribute with anything of everything if you can. Most companies will be very very thankful from that, and you know, I can try to help on gameplay. I can try to help on the story. I can try to help if somebody needs translation on Portuguese. You know, there's a lot of things you can help other than just effects, and I think most companies will definitely appreciate that a lot. All right, so we can also have some dandelions. It's kind of like my trademark. I put dandelions like almost every game I work on. Fast Forest, I'll put some dandelions. Oh, here we go. That's kind of, sorry for the squeaky sounds. My dog Misa is playing with her toys, so that's why sometimes you hear some squeaking. So here, what would be cool to do here? I'm not exactly sure what I would do in this situation. I have to think about it, but yeah, we can have definitely some atmospherics here, some bugs and some cool stuff. Yeah, it would be a lot easier if we actually had the plan set for the whole level, and we know what kind of path we're going to do and what kind of actions. Because at least we can kind of, you know, plan ahead. While this would be more open world kind of environment, it's kind of hard to predict where the character is going, so we definitely need to be prepared for most cases. Well, you could check like the collision and know exactly what's the boundaries, like places where definitely the characters won't go, to get an idea. But then again, some open world games you have the possibility of flying around, and so that also changes things a little bit. Seems like there's another furnace here, fireplace. I mean, some interesting places. Let's try to go to the second floor, see what happens there. Something interesting. Well, we can put the chimney, some smoke on the chimney. Maybe we can even do some particle people and put them on the wall to make it look like there's some people walking around. hay. I feel like I wanted something burning here. That would be pretty cool. But no, it's not like I can actually ask the environmental modeler to add something here. So I'll have to edit myself. Seems like this is also floating. It's a floating building. There's another one here. It seems very safe. No chance this will burn at all. Some falling apples. Falling apples from the sky. There's already some level fog. It's being procedurally generated. I really don't know what I'm gonna do with these carrots. Something to think about. Probably nothing. I don't think it would be worth to model some bunny to start stealing carrots. Alright, so we walked here already. It's pretty much the end of the level. This is the water section. There's some stuff there. And there's a boat. Okay. I don't think there's much we can do with these boats, though. They're not even in the water. Well, actually, this one is. Maybe we can try to add some caustics onto it, and some shore effects on it. Some more water. I think the level here would be finished pretty much. Doesn't look like there's much to do there anyways. And another building. So it's kind of empty, but there's also plenty to do on the outside. Just the interiors are not very interesting. Wish we had some. Maybe I'll model some candles, because that's did a lot of candles in Rise and Uncharted as well. Yeah, Uncharted had a lot of chandeliers with candles and torches, and Rise as well. Alright, so that's our level assessment. So we're gonna jump. Alright, so as usual, we're gonna make our effects folder. I'm gonna go ahead and add the materials. Textures. Try to keep this a bit more organized than last time. I know I keep saying the same, but we're gonna leave the particles outside. Okay. And I can add meshes too. Alright. So I think it's safe to start with the trees. So we can start with falling leaves. I'm just gonna take a look at the style that's being used. Sort of mix of paint. painting and photo. Yeah, you know, you would probably grab the same texture and use those as default, which could be a good idea. Or not. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of them. Well, I guess we can take a look at the asset. Foliage, trees. Got a tree here. Loading up the tree. And I'm going to the leaves material. Oh, it's a bunch of leaves already. Okay. Alright. Alright. So, probably gonna grab... I actually wanted some variation. There doesn't seem like there's any variation here. I can grab one of these. The texture is 2K. So, there's no points in getting very worried about the resolution. So I'm just going to resize this one. Something a bit more appropriate. That's my desktop. This is the leaf I'm looking for. Delete everything else. Actually, I'm not sure if I... Yeah. Might be hard to actually grab this from here. Okay. Control Shift I, delete everything else. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this one. Whoa, Windows sounds very loud. Make a mask. Again, I should be using the Cintiq. For this, it would be very helpful, but I can't because I have the microphone on top. I installed Lazy Mouse. Okay, no, I haven't installed it yet. Lazy Mouse is a tool that you can. I don't know if you have ever used ZBrush. ZBrush, you have a Lazy Mouse, which makes your mouse moving a lot smoother, so you can make a lot cleaner brush strokes or selections. Probably kind of useful in this situation. I can only use my... Well, I guess I can try it. I'm gonna try using the Cintiq. A little bit awkward. I know you cannot see it, but believe me, it's a little bit awkward. Alright, so I'm gonna select that. Select this. Cannot see much. So I'm gonna come here. Get rid of the pixel grid. And now I can use a little bit more my non-mouse skills. Even though from this angle I cannot really see what I'm doing. Okay. Alright. The good thing about using a mask is that you can... It's a non-destructive process. Oops. And you can clean it up a little bit afterwards. Okay. Select as much as I can. A decent amount of speed. position is really bad for my arm. Alright, so, wow, the Windows sound is really annoying. I wonder what's causing this. I just recently formatted my computer, so this is a brand new hard drive, brand new OS. So I'm using Windows 10 now, in case if you were wondering that it looks different from last week. Also means that I don't have access to what I had from the previous lessons of the course. Turn off the turn off the Windows sounds. They're really loud. I don't know where that option is anymore. Yeah, that doesn't look like I can. Well, hopefully it's not too loud on your end. Here is really loud. Okay. Good. Good. Just quick. You can also do it like this, you know, like very quick and dirty. And then you can come in, zoom in a little bit, and you can refine. Oops, that was the other way around. Okay. It's a little bit more off. Whoa. Yeah, it's kind of confusing because I'm actually selecting the outer regions instead of the interior regions. So I guess that means I'm more used to do it the other way around. It's kind of causing some challenges, as you can see. All right, a little bit more. So I'm selecting less here, and a little bit more here, a little bit less here. Okay. Fine stroke. Select. It's okay to select a little bit more sometimes. I could have used, you know, masking. I could have checked colors, channels, but in the end, you would always need to do some cleanup, so it doesn't really. I find it a little bit faster this way to do it properly from the beginning. Right, so that's our leave. God damn it. Such an annoying sound. Alright, I'm going to turn off the sound completely. So hopefully you can still, yeah, I think you can still hear. Okay. So, I'm going to my preferences, guides and rulers, onto subdivisions, on pixels. I grid every 112 pixels, and my grid. There you go. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to make it the middle so we don't have to mess around too much with the pivot. So this would be the center of gravity of the leaf. Okay. And we can actually, you know, a little bit more professional about it and try to make it use as much space as we can. All right. And I'm actually going to misspell it. Nature, Let's see, leaves. There we go. Such a great source. See if we have some leaves that kind of match that one, but they're a little bit different. I can see one here already. Maybe it's a little bit too yellowish. This might work a little bit better. I think this is the other side of it, which might be cool. And autumn version, no thank you. Okay, we got a couple of them. I think these ones will work. So, oh, nice. We actually have the thing already. So what I would usually do, I could actually grab some stuff from textures.com because you can actually use it for games production and stuff as long as your company has an account. But since I don't like to use stuff that other people can get access very easily, I tend to customize my own a lot by repainting it, or actually, you know, just go outside and take some pictures of reference myself and some textures myself and use those. Or in this case, you know, if it was like Naughty Dog or something, I would actually just use the ones from the trees themselves because they're usually pretty good. So there's some nice ones here. Alright, so I'm gonna download one. And I want a different one. Let's see the other ones I have here. So let me try to compare it really quick. Okay. So the other sides. Yeah, we can get some of the other side too. Grab these. I need to make sure they're the same type. The same color. Oh, already. Oh, nice. These ones already have the transparency channel. Nice. So select all of them. Scale them. Make sure this one is missing this little piece. How to select. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of bothers me a little bit. So I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. There. And to be consistent, ooh. Alright. Okay, so this one is a little bit more translucent. You can select these. Actually, I'm gonna just merge all of them. And first of all, select these. Probably won't be able to make this one at the same time. So I'm going to select these two. And I'm going to start tweaking a little bit. The colors to match. Alright, a little bit better. That's kind of cool. Okay. And this one. It's a little bit different. I'm gonna give the same treatment. Sure, the blue is correct. Sorry, the green is correct. Starting to tint the outside, but that's okay. Well, it depends. It could be not okay, actually. Because of the edges. We need to see if it's really going to affect it much or not. Also, I also feel that there's those are a bit more contrasty. Alright, cool. I'm going to select this. Actually, it didn't work. So I'm gonna control, do it here, paint, paint, paint. Now re-enable it. And since I can just use this as my mask here. So I'm gonna Control Shift Y. Make sure that nothing outside is doing that. Changing the colors on the side. Cool. So I'm gonna change the color of the background because it's kind of annoying. I'm gonna select some green. Actually, sorry, I actually want the, so I'll have to do so now. Oh, it seems correct though. Oh, it is correct. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh no, it's fixed. What? I don't know what happened. Okay. Control Shift. Delete all this stuff because I don't want any inconsistencies. Definitely feel like that color is nuts. Definitely not what I want. This is probably what I want. I thought it was K. This is G. Yeah, fine. Alright, that's a little bit better. So we have our leaves. I might paint a little bit. To get rid of some of the detail. Since ours, since these ones are a little bit more stylized, slightly more stylized. Maybe to the texture compression. Do these have a normal map? Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Decided wind intensity, so it looks like it actually reacts to the winds. Okay, so all right. Oh, okay, it seems like the whole tree's here and does have a normal map. We will. I haven't installed NVIDIA normal mapper yet, so maybe I'll do that when I take a break. So we'll have to live without the normal map for now. So I probably this darkening in the edges are probably not. It's probably not going to look very good. So what I'm going to do here, I want to shrink the selection. Okay. Actually, not so much. And to contract by 2 pixels. Okay. And what is it? Painting inside. I want to paint outside. Okay. Looks like there's some issues here. Tree had some holes in it. Oof. Oh, okay, it's just all right. That's acceptable. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the I don't like that halo of black. So I'm gonna paint it out. It's annoying. All right, I'll just brute force. change the brush opacity. I also want to simplify some of these shapes because, you know, you're not gonna really see it, but I think they're too. I want to bulk them up to make the details a bit more readable. Okay. Also, this is like, it's not really going to translate well. So I can also say some, also do some painting here. All right. Maybe a little bit stronger here. Some weird inconsistency in the color there. Like this black edge here. Okay. Smoothing it out a little bit. Making the details a little bit more readable. Especially when start making the normal map for this. It would be nice to have those extra details. So I'm gonna make a little bit of a painted shadow here. Some occlusion, shadow will help the normal map capture more detail. So before and after, you can definitely see, can capture a lot more details. Sometimes brute forcing is the way to go. Sometimes it's just faster, you know. Try to come up with a smart solution for something. That's like what I recommend 70-80% of the time. But sometimes, you know, sometimes it's actually faster and better if you just brute force your way through. Use your artistic skills, artistic speed. Try to do something, especially if you don't have to redo it. If you have to redo it, then it's a different story. Then please try to go with the smarter routes. Try to go with more procedural route. Okay. It's looking a little bit better. No halos. We might still have halos though, because of the alpha. We might still have halos. Not that I have anything against Halo. Microsoft Halo. Getting losing a little bit of detail there. Always keep sampling close to the colors you need. yeah, the sampling, so you don't lose so much detail. I didn't expect to spend so much time here doing a leaf, but you know, quality, quality, quality. Because if I don't do this, I might regret it. It's gonna ship in the game some Halo. People will say, this is the worst tree leaves ever. Some people on, whatchamacallit, NeoGAF. Actually, I have to say, when I was at Crytek, people really hated what we were doing on Rise. When I was at Naughty Dog, people really loved what we were doing. It's very interesting to see the same artists get completely different treatment. Not that I actually have to complain. People actually did not complain about the effects in neither of them. Actually, on NeoGAF, some people actually said when they saw Uncharted 4 trailer, oh, it's the best explosion I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh yeah, it's my explosion. Thank you. That was nice. That was nice. Always nice to get some ego boost, you know. People actually recognize and are happy and they say nice things about your work is always very nice. And sometimes they say bad things about your work. And you know, if you think it's think they're right, you should take advice. If you don't think they're right, then really think again. Is it really you? Is it them? Do they even know what they're talking about? Well, I'm talking about people not from the industry, of course. If it's your peers, then please do take their points into consideration. Or not. Maybe they're just crazy. Like me. Crazy. Alright, and here. Oh, that was... My arm is killing me now because of this position. I'm losing a little bit of the detail. Oh, hello. My dog is here. It's just I guess she wants to play. She's climbing on me. Pretty sure she is trying to tell me something. Hello, Misa. What do you want? Hmm? What do you want? You want to pay? You want to paint the rest? Hmm? I guess not. Right, I should save this. And now I'm gonna keep adding more detail. I'm gonna add a little more detail to this so it's more readable. Actually, sorry, not more detail. I'm actually simplifying the shapes. Make it a little bit more readable from the distance. Because this kind of stuff you cannot really. And if you're wondering if I did this on Uncharted or The Last of Us, yes, I did. I did this because I wanted all the details to be readable from afar. Okay. Well, of course I did this to reasonable amount because we didn't have that much time to work on the games. All right. Actually, the worst one looks the actual original one. Has edges too. All right, I'm gonna. Well, at least you have seen what I'm doing, so I'm gonna save this, and I'll probably keep doing it, but I'm not gonna record the other ones because you know you already got the gist of it. So yeah. All right, and I also want the leaves to have some sort of curvature. So I am going to give them some curvature. editable poly. I want to bend this a little bit. Probably need more geometry. It's too much. That's fine. Rotate. Okay. Something like this. Make sure my pivot is in the middle. And make sure this thing is in the middle. Like so. Okay, here's our leaf. For some reason it did not export correctly. And I think it's because I didn't collapse this. So let's refresh this. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Unreal tends to crash when we do re-import of meshes. Okay, didn't crash. Alright, that's looking better. Make the material. Let's open it. Textures. Okay. Super simple material. It's not detecting the alpha for some reason. Oh, there you go. It was inverted for some reason. Okay. Now, material goes in here. So every time I use this mesh, already comes up with the material. Didn't seem like it liked it. Okay, cool. Save this. This is material. Make my particle effect. So I'm gonna name it particles falling leaves. And as usual, gonna just focus on getting the very basics working. It's not playing because I didn't click. So there we have it. And I am going to choose the material. Actually, I'm going to choose the type data, set it to mesh. Mesh material. Okay. Leaf. All right. So, whoops. This stopped working. Oh, of course, the mesh is probably too big. Oh, of course. set this very simple to some value. So you can see this properly. Right now we're spawning 4, which is not what we want. I guess this probably still doesn't work. It meshes. Yeah, it still doesn't work. So what we can do, this is a dynamic parameter. Yep, I forgot Unreal doesn't support this feature, unlike Unity. So we'll have to do some math here. I'm gonna use a dynamic parameter for this. Actually, 2 dynamic parameters for this. I'm gonna change this to float uniform, spawn time only, and also I want this one, number 1, to also be, whoops, float uniform 0 to 1, spawn time only. So that spawn time is going to give me a random value. Well, yeah, we can start with this one and see which gives us the best one. So dynamic parameter. I'll need the texture coordinates. Okay, so the idea is, since we have 4, we will need to, at spawn time of each particle, we need to move this to the middle and enlarge it. If that makes sense. So the way to do it, I'll need to add to my texture coordinate, I'll need to append different vector. So I'm adding 2 vectors together and adding this to the texture sample. So I need basically, let me show you so it makes sense. So if it's 0 and 0 is going to give, it's taking quite a while to compile. So if I start moving this, oh wow, it's taking really long. See, the texture is moving. So we want always to get a value between 0.5 and 1.5 in each one of them, and then scale them up. So the scaling is going to actually happen later. So I want scale UVs by center. Okay, like so. And I also want to enlarge it. Oops, not this one. I want to enlarge it. So I want it to be double the size. Okay. Oh, actually, sorry. This actually goes before this. Because otherwise I would need to do it 2 times. And I definitely don't want to do that. Alright. So it's in scaling it. And I want to put this to 0.5. And this to 0.5. And there you go. So this is one sprite. It's too bad Unreal doesn't have the ability to do this without having to do some crazy math here. Alright, so the problem is I'm going to get a value between 0 and 1. A random value. And we definitely know we want, you know, this increments of 0.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to floor it. So if it's before 0.5, it's going to go to 0. And if it's above, it's going to go to 1. So I'm going to floor it. The problem is 1 is not exactly what we want, so we want to add. We want to add 0.5 to it. So we add 0.5 and we go here. And that's fine. And I want another one. Exactly the same thing, but with the other value. So we always get a true random value in both axes. Otherwise we will not get all the textures. Like so. Alright. So if I, if I have a different value here, if it was 2.2, it would give me a different leaf texture. And 0.2. Good. All right, and then we'll need to add. My God, it's so slow. It's time to reboot the computer, even though I don't have much stuff open, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna get, as soon as it compiles, we should get like different leaves. If this all is working properly, we should get some different leaves. It's kind of hard to tell. It's very dark. It's really dark. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Kind of hard to tell what's happening in the world too. Close this, close this. Scale. Constant. Actually, right now it looks like it's always using the same one. All right. Now we're getting more variation. Okay, now it's working as intended. Because now it has a bigger chance of getting values closer to 0 than before. Okay, so now that's working. I'm gonna change the scale. It's a 3D object, so I definitely need to move in all 3 axes. Okay, let's see if it kind of matches the size. To be bigger. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna say these are 2 and these are 1, and then I want to scale them. Let's size scale them. And I want ooh. Okay. So I forgot. You cannot use this. Okay. Size scale, initial size scale speed. Yeah, I guess I cannot use that as I wanted to, so let's go back and put the the values as it was. Is it still too small or too big? Now it seems a little bit too big. 0.5, 0.5. Okay. All right. Also, another thing I want is to set up this to use shadows. Huh. Seems like there's some new options here. It seems. I don't see the other options I'm used to. All right. Also, I wonder if it's actually rendering. No, it's not. Okay. We need to set this up to be two-sided. Okay, subsurface. Nah, no need for subsurface. Full directional. And yeah, that's fine. Take some lighting. While this is loading, I'm gonna change the show velocity. We probably don't need. I'll just want some constant deceleration. Minus 900 is probably too high. Minus 100. Leaves have a lot of air resistance, so minus 10. Okay, that's a little bit. Well, actually, that might not be too bad. Actually, might actually not be too bad. All right, an army of leaves falling. We can also start adding some randomness to the rotation. Okay, cool. Some mesh rotation. Oh wow, seems so slow now. It's actually, mesh rotation rates times life. Okay. So, minimum 0.1, maximum 0.2. Alright, that's kind of cool. I think they might be a little bit too big. The color doesn't really match either. So we'll need to have to work a little bit on that. Actually, we can do that now. We can do that right away. It seemed a little bit too big too. So I'm gonna put 0.3. And color over life. Try to make sure they get the correct tint. Seems like they're getting transparent already. So the settings there. I don't want that yet. Okay, cool. So alright, let's see, what can I do here? It's too bad it's actually rebooting the restarting the particle editor. Can I do this? No. Arr. That'd be good. Yeah, the colors on these leaves are kind of crazy. Alright, that's a bit better. Maybe a tiny bit brighter. Cool, that will do for now. Okay. So location. We want a box. Or a sphere. Sphere might do the trick. Okay. Sphere might do the trick. I'm gonna increase the constant acceleration a little bit. Even though when they're down here, actually they're falling to a very decent speed. Maybe I just add a drag. Maybe it will make more sense. 2, and I'll add a stronger constant falling rate. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit too much. Still quite a bit. So I wonder if this is actually... Okay, it is working. It's very strong. Not even living enough. Okay, let's try 2 or 3. Maybe 2. Okay, that seems good. Okay. And I want to make sure my lifetime of the particles is bigger. Also, we're gonna add size by life. And yeah, I want them to start at 1. And I want at 0.9 to still be 1. And at 1, it will be 0. So they will shrink. So they will shrink. Actually, they're shrinking a little bit too late, so I'm gonna change this to oh, sorry, they're shrinking too fast, so I'm gonna change this to 0.6. So I don't like the fact they're popping in. But that we can use this one. Okay, And I want my to when life is 0.3, I want the value to be 1. So they will fade in very nicely, and they will fall. And I also want the constant rate to be a lot less. You definitely don't want this to keep pouring leaves like a factory. You want this very, very sporadically. Actually, the clover life is a bit too late. So, okay. Actually, this is still a lot of leaves, honestly. We just want the occasional one. So I'm going to change this even less. So this is going to be even less. Even less than this. I don't even know if these values work in Unreal. Let's see. Gonna spawn something? The chance of spawning is so low now. It's not even doing anything. There we go. If it was a forest, then we could have more, but I'm actually going to put 2.2 so we actually see something. Come on. Come on, leaves. Alright. 2.27. Alright, that's good. So let me grab the particle effect. And I'm gonna name, oh, it's already named correctly, good. It's always good. Close this, save. So we have our first usable particle system. We can start using and duplicating it and adding to other places. It's going to be all instance, so in some situations I might create a variant with different attributes, like, I don't know, wind, or different wind directions, or more turbulence, something like that. Different leaf types, well, obviously. Different falling rates, and so on and so on. Different sizes. Cool. The first one. So now it's just a question of, you know, where did it go? Can I grab it from somewhere? Grab it, duplicate. There's another tree over there. Oh, it's falling leaves, okay. So that's why. Oh yeah, we didn't, there was something I forgot to mention. We should also start, I don't know if I can actually do this in Unreal properly. Some engines support, well, Unreal I'm pretty sure it does too, kind of layering areas. So I would layer my effects areas in regions and all that. So I would be able to organize a level a lot more and work a lot more efficiently. And areas with different colors and stuff like that. Okay. This one also has falling leaves. Sometime soon. Or not. Sorry, I guess it's not this one. I could swear it was that one. Oh. Unreal. It did not duplicate. It's Control W. Oh, okay. I was like, why? Why's my leaves disappearing? Control W. Why do they have to be different? Should have done Control D. Otherwise I get confused. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. You can also place it a little bit taller, so you get different results from different branches. Because that's cool. This is looking good. It's looking good. These ones are a different type, so we're gonna do a different type for that one. Same. Okay, so looking at the map, I think we could say that the playable area is going to be this road, the selected road here, and all its surrounding areas. Not inside of the fortification, and definitely not here in this woods. At least for the moment, we'll use that as a guide. So playable space is only this this village and this river here, and anything beyond, like inside of the fortification, all this outside area is going to be outside of the playable space. So these 3 sections is still inside of the playable space, and all this area too. So with that in mind, we can keep going at it and keep duplicating our leaves. So Control W and set C. Drag it here. It's going to be a lot of rinse and repeat, honestly. Okay, that's nice. This one is a different one. So a different one, different ones. This one is the same. Control W. Look at another one. You also have to think, like, is this going to be a very populated area, like with a lot of effects going on? It's going to be a calmer area without so much performance issues. In those areas you probably can go a little bit more crazy with the effects. You know, like a calm area like this that doesn't have much stuff to render, it should be fine. Also, you can take lotting into account. Just something we might, well, we definitely will talk about it, even though it seems like this version of Unreal has a bug with lotting. I was not able to get the lotting working on this version, so I don't know if either that they changed the way lotting operates in this version of Unreal, or it's actually a bug. And if it's a bug, that's kind of sad, because then I cannot really show it to you. I can give you the theory behind it though, and other types of optimization we can do. But for the moment, that's really not important. We can just keep going and keep copying and pasting our effects and make sure that everything feels quite alive. So let's keep going. Control W, duplicating it. It's really annoying, the exposure. It keeps getting adjusted from bright to low. From bright to dark. It's quite annoying. Probably will have to fix that. So we have emitters on this one, emitters on this one. This one doesn't look like we have. You can always also, some engines support instancing on the actual emitters, so it would be able to override the emission rate for some of the particle emitters. I don't know if you can. I guess you can. You can also add those here. You can. So the way it works is you're duplicating the emitter. It's always using the same settings. But in some occasions, you don't want to make a new particle system just because, there's a tree with more leaves and you want to, or something, and you want to have a higher degree of leaves falling. So you would go there and you just change the emitter settings, the instancing settings on that particular emitter. If that makes sense. It's just a convenient way. That way you could also, it's one less particle emitter you need to add it. If you wanted to have faster leaves falling, you would have particle falling leaves faster and the score faster. And then you would, if you were like optimizing or whatever, or changing anything, you would need to add it both. While if you have instancing, you can just pretty much change this one, and all the other ones, even though they have faster leaves, they will change as well, like in material or gravity settings or something like that. There's not much happening in this area here, so I think I can add a few more emitters here. It's not as busy, so a little bit more motion is good. Yeah, there's a lot of rinse and repeat. I don't know why it keeps going down, even though I'm pretty sure I picked the right gizmo. Trees are a different type. I don't think I've added on this ones yet. There's a bunch of here. So actually, yeah, here we can do something a little bit different. I'm gonna duplicate this one. I'm gonna move this over there. I'm gonna change this. Spawn one. I'm gonna change this from a sphere to a box. I'm gonna move it somewhere to the middle of it. You have to be careful doing this kind of stuff because it can be hurtful for you if you don't take precautions. Like, you don't want to see the leaves spawning in midair. That would be bad. So we have to test the sizes. I don't know how much this is. Okay. It's pretty small. So you can actually, okay. And just so we know exactly where they're falling, we can just crank up this value for debugging. It's actually still pretty small. Oh, sorry, this might not be the actual correct one. So let's put this one here. Let's move it up. No, the area is still quite small, so I'm also going to, I'm going to crank this up so I can really see it well. I'm going to crank this up. Okay, that seems a bit better. Move it to the middle. We have to see if it works. It's still quite small, actually. I think we can do better than that. Also, let me just double check if we have a circle emitter. Oh, we have a cylinder. Okay, let's use the cylinder instead. It might be simpler. We don't need heights. Well, a little bit of height, but not nothing too impressive. Okay, seems more around what I would want. And now I'm gonna put like 5 or something. Oh, sorry. I want in the. Yeah, I see right now they're spawning me there. Even though I think they're still invisible up there, but I want to make sure. Yeah, this is way too much. So I'm just gonna put 1. Also, I don't want this on. I want the actual visible one on. I'll delete this one actually. Save it. Still might be a little bit too much. Yeah, it seems like it's definitely a lot. So I'm gonna put this to a more reasonable number. So delete these two. You definitely don't want to feel like there's a, unless for some gameplay reason or you want to make it like really dynamic, but in terms of realism, it would feel weird if you see every second a leaf falling. You just want like sporadically a leaf falling, just to give a touch of realism. Okay, that seems fine. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, you can do this approach to for several places, for places with a lot of trees that need a lot of coverage. So you can speed up your workflow. Just make sure that when you do like another pass, you see if it's not going over. It's not going to show up in midair or something. That seems fine. Right, there's a lot of trees here. It'd be really nice if the laws were working. I already have another one here. I'm just gonna move it this way. You also need to be careful. In other engines, you have regions, and you can specify where the effects spawn or not. I mean, when they render and not actually being calculated. And that is really helpful for situations like this. I'm putting this quite close to the building. It's quite annoying, the gizmo. And the thing is, it might go inside of the building. So you start seeing leaves inside of the actual building. Well, all right. I guess that shouldn't be much of a problem, but you know, if this was done properly, you would have seen you first. You will not see this. This is kind of crazy. But you know, in this situation, you would be able to prevent leaves from spawning inside of the building, which sometimes is a bit of a headache when levels are too tight and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna duplicate it. It's gonna spawn me there. So move it down a little bit. This one is alone, so I'm just gonna put one of these emitters. This one is quite small, but I think it's okay to add. So make sure you keep it organized, like name of emitters. If you have groups, put in groups or layers or regions, so you really can very fast iterate on what's going on. And remember, you don't need to do this for every tree. You know, there's areas maybe you don't feel like you need trees there to give some visual variety. Or maybe, you know, even different leaf. Well, right now we have different leaf types, but you know, if you have a different shade of the same tree, a different color, you can definitely make a little bit of a variation, or you can just decide not to have spawning in that area. Sometimes being a little bit inconsistent is the best consistency, if that makes sense. Just give a nice amount of variation that feels correct. Especially, you know, like if it's an area that there's a lot of action, like I said, a lot of effects going on, you probably won't be able to afford having leaves falling while you're at it. Or you can if you have a lot of setup to make sure it works. But in those situations, I would advise you, like, also imagine here's going to be a big battle, maybe over here, and which would be a horrible place for an action scene. But you know, you can actually start decreasing the amount of leaves that this one and this one is less and this one is nothing. So it doesn't feel that abrupt change. Some more of the same here. I think if you click insert, you send it to the land. No, it doesn't. I could swear insert was the one. Jesus. I don't know what happened. Don't click insert. I just, yeah, don't click insert. I thought insert was the key to snap to world, but apparently it's not. So I believe we have some snaps here. Snap into the grid. Okay. Will it work? Okay, it's snapping the surfaces, but it doesn't really help us, so I'm going to disable it. This is a brush, so I have some some doubts it actually works on brushes. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, this can seem a little bit tedious. But, you know, it's like doing UV. Sometimes it can be therapeutic. Just wait until the level designers and the modelers keep changing the the level in production, and you have to always keep iterating on this. So everything you did probably doesn't... Everything you did is probably gone. Or it doesn't make any sense. Then you start getting bugs from QA saying there's water or leaves spawning in midair. And there's nothing there. Of course, because somebody moved the trees. They're not there anymore. Or you can just do smart assets. You know, you would make this a smart asset, and, or I don't know what other engines call it, and it would spawn leaves from that asset. So anytime somebody moves the trees, assuming they didn't collapse the layers, like layers in Photoshop, you would still be able to, when they would move the tree, it would follow the particle emitters would follow the same movement, which is a lot better than redoing this every time. You lose so much time. Sometimes it's nice too, because you can get a little bit less procedural look. Really depends. Sometimes it's better to spend time in tech and other things than this thing, even though it's very time consuming, honestly. You can also duplicate two of them at the same time. No, I don't. Honestly, it's not really very useful, because I need to then move them individually. I'll need to do a pass later on. Right now I'm really doing it really quick and dirty, and then I'll go and finesse like the locations, make you know, play it, see, make sure everything works fine. A good time to save. Probably have hundreds of these already. Okay, we duplicated. This one has... Okay. Looking good. Looking good. And as you keep going, you make your little toolbox that you just use and reuse in every level, or make, you know, a good starting point, so you save so much time. That's why I think one of the reasons why I'm so fast doing effects, it's that I have... my toolboxes are quite they have a lot of stuff for different occasions, which is very useful. Just make sure the designers don't never get their hands on your toolbox, especially if it's a prototype toolbox, because then you're going to be spending quite a lot of time deleting effects they did and put the proper effects, which can be a really big headache. Or you can just handle them a toolbox that you say, just keep in mind, this will change. We will set everything to 0 if you don't put this organized, or at least organize it like when you're putting it, put in a prototype folder or something, or layer. So everything, if it's organized, at least it's easier to know where to place the effects. It gets even more complicated if they start spawning effects, prototype effects in by code or by scripting, because then it's really hard to track where your prototype effects are coming from. These trees are really low to the floor, so I'm not going to paint falling leaves on those, or one of the smaller ones. Okay, and falling leaves. It's cool. See how generally it feels. You're strolling around, and occasionally you get the, oh, this is a bit slow. And occasionally you, I'll already see one in midair there, which I will have to fix. Actually, it's still slow. I feel like we should be walking a little bit faster. This is a little bit too fast. 2.5 would be ideal, I guess. So we're looking around. You occasionally see the falling leaf. Very natural feeling. You'll have other effects to complement, so don't feel like you should be seeing a falling leaf every second, if you know what I mean. You know, just occasionally is fine. Like 3 right now is fine. You know, from time to time you see it, but with other effects and the characters moving and dialogue, it will feel a lot more alive. You don't necessarily need to bet everything on the trees. Okay, it's feeling pretty nice. Alright. And we have a lot of leaf fall emitters. So we have 56 just of the normal one, and 11 from area ones. You can start grouping stuff. I actually have to double check how to use the groups in Unreal, because my memory is not very it's been a while. Actually, I don't even know if there was grouping last time I used it. This is probably an area one. That's correct. Alright, so this seems to be working. Here we have leaves too. That's fine. We'll need to move on to this type of leaves, but I'll do that later, because I don't want you to die of boredom always with leaves. So we can switch to something a little bit more, something a little bit different, because that's actually what I would do if I was working. I would not just, I would do leaves, 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 but if I move to another section, I would just take a little break and do something else, so it doesn't become too monotonous. I just want to make sure that these ones also work. And while we're at it, these ones. See, and if you layer it or group it, then you can just fly out, and you would be able to see which areas. If you select it, you would be able to see any areas that you actually forgot to tackle. And areas you forgot to do the leaves falling. And you highlight all the other effects, of course. Yeah, there's still a lot of areas that don't have. But like I said, it's not mandatory that all of them have. It's fine. Just make sure the player will feel it. And it will feel good. Yeah, this one we can have a little bit of an area one. Usually works better in the tall ones. It will make more sense. It will not feel as a natural. Alright. So that's quite a bit of leaves. So I'm going to save. And I'm going to leave it like this. Hello and welcome to week 6.